Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar, and with me is Rupinder Kaur Chawla with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs 7th Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog in New Delhi. Focus on issues of crop diversification and implementation of national education policy. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is a golden opportunity to connect the youth emotionally with nation building, says Prime Minister. Jagdeep Dhankar to be sworn in as 14th Vice President of India on Thursday. ISRO launches small rocket from Sriharikota carrying Earth Observation Satellite and Azadi Sat satellite. CUET undergraduate for candidates affected by cancellations due to technical glitches to be held from 24th to 28th of August. At Commonwealth Games, Indian boxers Amit Panghal, Neetu Ganghas, Nikhat Zareen and Sagar Ehlawat to fight for gold in respective events today. India to take on Australia in women's T20 cricket final of the Games at Edgbaston in Birmingham, and in men's cricket, India to take on West Indies in 5th and final T20 International in Florida this evening. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is currently chairing the 7th Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog at Rashtrapati Bhavan Cultural Centre in New Delhi. The meeting aims to pave the way for synergies towards a new era of collaboration and cooperation between the centre and states and the union territories. As part of preparations for the meeting, the National Conference of Chief Secretaries was held in Dharamshala in June this year, which was chaired by the Prime Minister. This meeting is very important as the country enters the Amrit Kal against the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic and in light of India hosting the G20 Presidency and Summit next year. This is the first in-person meeting of the Governing Council since July 2019. Our correspondent reports that the meeting will also lay emphasis on the importance of the presidency for India for the federal system and the role that states can play in highlighting their progress at the G20 platform.
Niti Aayog's Governing Council is the premier body tasked with evolving a shared vision of national priorities and strategies with the active involvement of states and union territories. The Governing Council presents a platform to discuss intersectoral, interdepartmental and federal issues. The agenda of the meeting includes crop diversification and achieving self-sufficiency in oilseeds, pulses and agri-communities, implementation of the national education policy and urban governance. The meeting will endeavour to finalize a roadmap and outcome-oriented action plan on each of the themes. With Dipendra Kumar, Aarti Rana, AIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is creating an atmosphere of patriotic zeal in the country, and it is a golden opportunity to establish the emotional connect of the youth with nation building. The Prime Minister was addressing the 3rd National Committee meeting on Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in New Delhi yesterday. Mr. Modi said the committees at national, state and district levels have been working day and night to take Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to the masses. He said the success of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is due to the contribution of every citizen of the country. The Prime Minister said the emotional flavour of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is the core of the campaign. He said Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is a Sanskar Utsav for the youth which will fill them with the undying passion to contribute for the country. Mr. Modi said the current generation will be the leaders of tomorrow, and therefore we have to inculcate in them a sense of duty and responsibility now to realize the dreams and vision of India at 100. He said the technological revolution has stepped up the speed of change tremendously. In his closing remarks, the Prime Minister said we must nourish and nurture our unity and promote India as Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat because a united nation is a progressive nation. Mr. Modi said we are passing through a period of Amrit Kal marked by the spirit of Sankalp Se Siddhi, which will take our country to the peak of success in the next 25 years.
National Democratic Alliance NDA candidate Jagdeep Dhankar has been elected as 14th Vice President of India. Mr. Dhankar received 528 votes, defeating the opposition's candidate Margaret Alva, who got 182 votes. Mr. Dhankar swept the polls with 72.8% of the valid votes cast during the polls yesterday. His victory margin is highest in last 6 vice presidential polls. Mr. Dhankar will take oath of office on Thursday, a day after the term of the incumbent Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu ends. Mr. Dhankar will also be appointed the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Ministers and several leaders have congratulated Mr. Dhankar on winning the vice presidential election. In a tweet, President Murmu said the nation will benefit from his long and rich experience of public life. She conveyed best wishes to him for a productive and successful tenure. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said the nation will greatly benefit from Mr. Dhankar's vast experience and legal expertise. He conveyed best wishes to Mr. Dhankar for a successful and fruitful tenure. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Vice President-elect soon after his election to the office at his residence in Delhi and conveyed his greetings and best wishes. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said it is a matter of joy for the whole country that a farmer's son has been elected as the Vice President of the country. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said Mr. Dhankar has been continuously associated with the people in his long public life. He said the upper house will definitely benefit from the close understanding of the ground issues and the experience. Mr. Shah expressed confidence that as Vice President and Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Jagdeep Dhankar will prove to be an ideal guardian of the Constitution. He expressed gratitude to NDA allies, other parties and members of Parliament for supporting Mr. Dhankar. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh congratulated Mr. Dhankar and said his long public life, wide experience and deep understanding of people's issues will certainly benefit the nation. He expressed confidence that he will make an exceptional Vice President and Rajya Sabha Chairman.
National Handloom Day is being observed today. The day has special significance in the history of the freedom struggle in the country. On this day in 1905, Swadeshi Andolan was started. Announcing the day to celebrate National Handloom Day in 2015, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that all families in the country must keep at least one product of khadi and one of handloom.
भारत का हैंडलूम, हमारा हैंडीक्राफ्ट अपने आप में सैकड़ों वर्षों का गौरवमय इतिहास समेटे हुए है। हम सभी का प्रयास होना चाहिए कि न सिर्फ भारतीय हैंडलूम और हैंडीक्राफ्ट का ज्यादा से ज्यादा उपयोग करें, बल्कि इसके बारे में हमें ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों को बताना भी चाहिए। भारत का हैंडलूम और हैंडीक्राफ्ट कितना रीच है, इसमें कितनी विविधता है, ये दुनिया जितना ज्यादा जानेगी उतना ही हमारे लोकल कारीगरों और बुनकरों को लाभ होगा।
Home and Cooperation Minister Amit Shah said country's handloom sector signifies its rich and diverse cultural heritage. Mr. Shah said the day is also aimed at encouraging countrymen to use handloom products weaved by indigenous weavers. Mr. Shah said on this 8th National Handloom Day, all should join hands to further Modi government's resolve to preserve and promote handloom heritage and empower handloom weavers, especially the women. On the occasion, an insurance scheme for weavers has come into force in Telangana from today. About 80,000 weavers in the state will be benefited by the insurance scheme. Under the new scheme, the weavers will get an insurance cover of 5 lakh rupees for accidental death. The LIC and the state government have an agreement for implementing this scheme. Several programs are being held across the state on the occasion of the National Handloom Day. At the main program held in Hyderabad, the state government presented Konda Lakshman Bapuji Awards to 28 weavers who have shown extraordinary expertise in weaving of different handlooms.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs 7th Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog in New Delhi. Focus on issues of crop diversification and implementation of national education policy. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is a golden opportunity to connect the youth emotionally with nation building, says Prime Minister. Jagdeep Dhankar to be sworn in as 14th Vice President of India on Thursday. ISRO launches small rocket from Sriharikota carrying Earth observation satellite and Azadi Sat satellite. CUET undergraduate for candidates affected by cancellations due to technical glitches to be held from 24th to 28th of August. At Commonwealth Games, Indian boxers Amit Panghal, Neetu Ghanghas, Nikhat Zareen and Sagar Ehlawat to fight for gold in respective events today. India to take on Australia and Women's T20 cricket final of the Games at Edgbaston in Birmingham. And in men's cricket, India to take on West Indies in 5th and final T20 International in Florida this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
क्या आप वरिष्ठ नागरिक हैं? क्या आपके मन में सेहत, आर्थिक, सामाजिक या भावनात्मक मुद्दों से जुड़ा कोई सवाल है? आकाशवाणी आपके लिए लेकर आया है कार्यक्रम एक कदम और बुजुर्गों के लिए, हर रविवार रात 9:30 बजे FM गोल्ड पर। आप अपने सवाल हमें व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर भेज सकते हैं या इस पते पर ईमेल कर सकते हैं एक कदम और airnews@gmail.com।
अगर आप कर रहे हैं कॉम्पिटिशन्स की तैयारी तो फिर आपके लिए है ऑल इंडिया रेडियो का कार्यक्रम अभ्यास। आपके भेजे प्रश्न हम व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर रिसीव करते हैं और उसके उत्तर हमारे एक्सपर्ट सैटरडे रात 9:30 बजे देते हैं। इस बार का विषय है साइकोलॉजी और आपके सवाल का हम करेंगे इंतजार 10 अगस्त तक। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News on All India Radio. Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO today launched the Small Satellite Launch Vehicle SSLV-D1. It was launched from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh at 9:18 a.m. Our correspondent reports that the SSLV-D1 rocket carried the Earth observation satellite EOS-02 and another small satellite Azadi Sat, developed by the student team of Space Kids India.
The SSLV-D1 rocket carried the Earth observation satellite EOS-02 and another small satellite Azadi Sat, developed by the Space Kids India. Azadi Sat, built by 750 young girl students from 75 rural government schools across India. This project has been specially conceptualized for the celebrations of the 75th year of Independence Day to encourage scientific temper and create opportunities for young girls to choose space research as their career. Speaking after the launch at Sriharikota, ISRO Chairman S. Somnath said that
we had in the terminal phase of the mission some data loss is occurring and we are analyzing the data and we will come back on the status of the satellites and as well as the vehicle performance soon.
The three-stage SSLV-D1 is primarily powered by solid fuel and also has a velocity trimming module powered by 0.05 ton of liquid fuel for precise injection of satellites. The rocket flew to the space amid cloudy skies with rainy drizzles. Joy, AIR News, reporting from Sriharikota.
The National Investigation Agency NIA has arrested an accused for allegedly being involved in the activities of the Islamic State ISIS module case after conducting searches at Batla House in New Delhi. The NIA said the accused, identified as Mohsin Ahmad, was arrested yesterday. The probe agency said Ahmad, a resident of Patna, has been an active member of the ISIS. Our correspondent reports he has been arrested for his involvement in collection of funds for ISIS from sympathizers in India as well as abroad. He was sending these funds to Syria and other places in form of cryptocurrency in order to further the activities of ISIS. Further investigations are in progress.
The Common University Entrance Test undergraduate CUET-UG for candidates who were affected by cancellation of examination last week due to technical glitches will now be conducted from 24th to 28th of August. UGC Chairman Professor M. Jagdish Kumar said fresh admit cards will be issued for candidates whose exam was cancelled. In second phase, the exam scheduled between 4th and 6th of August were deferred at few centres due to administrative and technical reasons. Earlier, it was announced that the deferred exams will be conducted from 12th to 14th of this month, but many candidates had requested not to schedule exams on these dates as a series of festivals were falling during the period, and in view of this, the fresh dates have been announced. Mr. Kumar said the third phase of CUET-UG on 17th, 18th and 20th of this month will be conducted as per the schedule informed to the candidates earlier. Meanwhile, the CUET-UG started off well in all the centers across the country today. In a series of tweets, Mr. Kumar said National Testing Agency NTA has taken all possible steps to make sure that the test is conducted smoothly. He said NTA has also created an exclusive grievance redressal email ID. The grievances of candidates regarding subject combination, medium, question paper can be sent to cuetgrievance@nta.ac.in mentioning the application number. Mr. Kumar has also advised candidates to be in touch with the NTA website for the latest updates regarding the examination.
Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia has said India is seeing for the first time the democratization of the civil aviation. Speaking at the flagging off function of India's new airline services Akasa Air today, Mr. Scindia said it is with the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi that India is first time seeing the democratization of civil aviation where even the common man can even afford to travel in airlines. Speaking about Akasa Airline, Mr. Scindia said it is going to create a huge positive impact in the aviation sector. The airline's first scheduled flight was flagged off today morning from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport in Mumbai to Ahmedabad. More than 206 crore 21 lakh vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 29 lakh 58,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 18,738 new COVID cases were reported in the country.
India will complete 75 years of its independence on the 15th of this month. This year, the Independence Day will take place amidst the ongoing Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. In the run-up to the Independence Day celebration, All India Radio News is running a special series, India at 75. Today the theme is A Self-Reliant India. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan or Self-Reliant India campaign is a vision of new India envisaged by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. On the 12th of May 2020, Mr. Modi gave a clarion call to the nation, giving a kick-start to the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. The aim is to make the country and its citizens independent and self-reliant in all senses. Mr. Modi had outlined 5 pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat: economy, infrastructure, system, vibrant demography and demand. Agriculture plays a very crucial role in Atmanirbhar Bharat. Addressing an event, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had stressed on the need for the country to be self-reliant in agriculture. He had said that the goal of self-sufficiency in agriculture is to make a farmer productive as well as entrepreneur.
जब हम कृषि में आत्मनिर्भरता की बात करते हैं तो ये सिर्फ खाद्यान्न तक ही सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि ये गांव की पूरी अर्थव्यवस्था की आत्मनिर्भरता की बात है। ये देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में खेती से पैदा होने वाले उत्पादों में वैल्यू एडिशन करके देश और दुनिया के बाजारों में पहुंचाने का मिशन है। कृषि में आत्मनिर्भरता का लक्ष्य किसानों को एक उत्पादक के साथ ही उद्यमी बनाने का भी है। जब किसान और खेती उद्योग की भांति आगे बढ़ेगी तो बड़े स्तर पर गांव में और गांव के पास ही रोजगार और स्वरोजगार के अवसर तैयार होने वाले हैं।
As part of Har Ghar Tiranga campaign ahead of the 75th Independence Day, Gram Panchayat Borgaon in Lakhani Taluka of Bhandara district of Maharashtra earned the distinction of being the first flag village in the district. This means the tricolor flag has reached all the families, government and semi-government offices in the village. Gram Panchayat Borgaon has around 224 families.
अब हर घर की छत पर शान से फहरेगा तिरंगा, गुनगुनाए जाएंगे नव विकास के गीत, आन बान शान का प्रतीक राष्ट्रध्वज तिरंगा। आइए आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर इस स्वाधीनता दिवस हर घर फहराते हैं तिरंगा और लेते हैं भव्य और सशक्त भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प।
आइए हर घर फहराएं तिरंगा।
And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during this freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
The first Indian flag against the imperialist British administration was hoisted on the 7th of August 1906 in Kolkata. This flag had 3 horizontal stripes of red, yellow and green, with Vande Mataram written in the middle. The red strip on the flag had a sun and a crescent moon, and the green strip had 8 half-open lotuses. It is believed to have been designed by freedom fighters Sachendra Prasad Bose and Hemchandra Kanungo.
Jodi tor dak shuni kyun na ashe tabe ekla chalo re.
We pay our tributes to legendary literary giant Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, who died on the 7th of August 1941.
A multi-talented personality in every sense, Tagore was a poet, Brahmo Samaj philosopher, playwright, novelist, painter and a composer. He modified Bengali art by rebuffing the strictures that confined it within the sphere of classical Indian forms. Apart from the Indian national anthem, Jana Gana Mana, his composition Amar Shonar Bangla was adopted as the national anthem of Bangladesh, and the national anthem of Sri Lanka was inspired by one of his works.
Amar Shonar Bangla, ami tomay bhalobasi.
Tagore vouched for Indian independence through his motivating songs. He supported Indian nationalists and publicly criticized imperialism. During the partition of Bengal in 1905, Rabindranath provided active leadership to the Swadeshi movement, advocating boycott of British goods and promotion of indigenous products.
Banglar mati, Banglar jal, Banglar vayu, Banglar phal, unna ho, unna ho, unna ho.
Rabindranath Tagore wrote the song Banglar Mati Banglar Jol to unite the Bengali population. In 1915, he received knighthood from the British Crown, which he later renounced, citing the massacre at Jallianwala Bagh. He said that the knighthood meant nothing to him when the British failed to even consider his fellow Indians as humans.
Rabindranath also criticized the education system that was forced upon India by the British. Reforming education became a cornerstone of his mission for society and nation building. And to this end, Gurudev Rabindranath established Vishwa Bharati University at Shantiniketan in 1921.
Amader Shantiniketan, chede sob hote apon, amader sob hote apon, amader Shantiniketan.
The noble soul breathed his last on the 7th of August 1941 at Kolkata. Rabindranath Tagore changed the way Bengali literature was viewed, and he left an everlasting impression on many. There are 5 museums dedicated to Tagore. While 3 of them are situated in India, the remaining 2 are in Bangladesh. The museums house his famous works and are visited by millions every year. AIR News pays tribute to the great noble soul.
also remember nationalist artist Abanindranath Tagore, who was born on the 7th of August 1871 in West Bengal. Nephew of Rabindranath Tagore, Abanindranath Tagore was the first major supporter of Swadeshi values in Indian art.
Abanindranath created the Indian Society of Oriental Art and Bengal School of Art to counter the English influence on Indian artists. He rejected the materialistic art of the West and emphasized on returning to the Indian traditional art forms. He believed that Indian art and its art forms gave importance to spirituality as opposed to the West, which stressed on materialism. His idea of modernizing Mughal paintings and Rajput paintings eventually gave rise to modern Indian painting. Most of his works revolved around Hindu philosophy. His notable paintings include Ganesh Janani, Bharat Mata, and the Victory of Buddha.
The great nationalist died on the 5th of December 1951. AIR News salutes the great nationalist. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today urged all youngsters associated with the world of startups to take part in My Handloom, My Pride. Mr. Modi said it is an excellent opportunity to ideate and innovate for weavers. Prime Minister also posted a video in his Twitter handle on National Handloom Day.
On to sports. Day 10 at the Commonwealth Games offers India a number of medal opportunities in boxing, athletics and table tennis. India have also confirmed 4 medals in boxing as 4 boxers will fight for gold today. Boxer Neetu Ganghas will take on Demi Zaid Renstan of England in women's 48 kg final. Amit Panghal will meet Kieran MacDonald of England in final of men's 51 kg event. Nikhat Zareen will take on Northern Ireland's Carly McNall in the 50 kg category for the gold. Indian boxer Sagar Ehlawat will fight with England's Delicious Ori in 92+ kg event. The focus will largely be on the Indian women's cricket team, who will square off against Australia in the gold medal match tonight. The women's hockey team will face New Zealand in the bronze medal match this afternoon. In athletics, 3 Indians, Abdullah Abu Bakr, Eldhoz Paul and Praveen Chitral will contest in men's triple long jump final. Yesterday, India added 4 gold and 3 silver medals, raising the overall tally of medals to 40, which includes 13 gold, 11 silver and 16 bronze medals. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur congratulated the winners. Listen to Commonwealth Games quiz with AIR News Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. every day. All you have to do is reply to a question on the Commonwealth Games. Email your answers at airsportscan@gmail.com. The first correct answer will be selected as the winner and rewarded with a jersey of the Indian Commonwealth Games team. So keep cheering to India, listening to Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. on FM Gold 100.1 MHz and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
In cricket, India will take on West Indies in the 5th and the final T20 International at the Central Board Regional Park at Lauderhill in Florida in US. The match will begin at 8 p.m. India defeated the West Indies by 59 runs in the 4th T20 to take an unassailable 3-1 lead in the 5-match series at the same venue last night.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs 7th Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog in New Delhi. Focus on issues of crop diversification and implementation of national education policy. Prime Minister urges all youngsters associated with the world of startups to take part in My Handloom, My Pride. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is a golden opportunity to connect the youth emotionally with nation building, says Prime Minister. Jagdeep Dhankar to be sworn in as the 14th Vice President of India on Thursday. ISRO launches small rocket from Sriharikota carrying Earth Observation Satellite and Azadi Sat satellite. CUET undergraduate for candidates affected by cancellations due to technical glitches to be held from 24th to 28th of August. At Commonwealth Games, Indian boxers Amit Panghal, Neetu Ganghas Nikat Zareen and Sagar Elawat to fight for gold in respective events today. India to take on Australia in Women's T20 cricket final of the Games at Edgbaston in Birmingham. And in men's cricket, India to take on West Indies in 5th and final T20 International in Florida this evening. With that, we end the Midday News.